Okay, that's two in a row now. Yesterday's I started, finished, deleted, and then redid it. And this one I just got to the end and didn't like it, so I redid it. Um, Woke up, coached the morning classes today. I don't know if I should be doing that, but I am. Is it cheating? I don't care. Deal with it. You don't really know. I could be lying. This could be the first go round. Woke up this morning and taught the morning classes at good old CrossFit Mafia again. The 5:30 a.m. is still a skeleton crew, but it's an awesome crew. Like I said, I do love the smaller classes for all the reasons that you get to just interact and dig a little deeper with the crew that shows up. So it was funny because I heard them chatting. They were worried that only one or two was going to show up because they said something like, well, then I'm going to get all my reps, every single rep judged. Let me tell you, people, no matter how many of you there are in class, I am judging every single one of your reps. But I just don't share it as much if there's so many people in class. So keep that in mind, world. Let's see, 5:30, 6:30. 6:30 was a good mix, getting back to it. The workout, AMRAP 8 minutes, 2 wall walks, 2 deadlifts at 205 pounds and 315 pounds. Pre-workout was a little every minute on the minute, build up to a heavy single deadlift. This is a cool workout. I don't love workouts with lots of transitions, but what was a couple of cool things is CrossFit Affiliate Programming has been doing this more recently. Mafia follows their programming. And this workout today was a retest year to day from last year, which I thought was really awesome. And it was cool to give some shout outs to some PRs for people. Some of them were pretty surprised at their PRs, which is always really nice. I did not PR on it. At least I don't think so. I have to try and check, see my notes. I'll follow up on that one. I don't think I did. I think I got 13 or 4. What did I get? Maybe I got 12 rounds. I think I got 13 rounds today. I think I got more last year. Anyway, not terribly important. I think I would have liked to work out a little more if it was 2 wall walks, 4 deadlifts. But also learned during the EMOM 8, building up to a heavy, that I am weak as. But that makes sense. I'm basically just a gymnastic, high rep endurance dork now. No offense to those people out there who fall in that category. I thoroughly love it, but clearly need to lift more often. I usually only lift when it shows up in class, and I go to that class. So, and most of the time it's really just so I can high five people and just chat with them and have a great time. No, I love the lifting days. I just not as disciplined at all about doing it outside of a group. It happens. I don't know, some weirdness going on in the interwebs. I keep seeing it pop up, like just these discussions about what CrossFit is or isn't, which I think is moderately interesting. I think it's moderately interesting if like you just want to like have the debate and see, you know, like, can you argue your side? Could you argue a point you disagree with? But honestly, in my travels and experience, I've seen CrossFit applied enough different ways, and we talked about this earlier, and I've seen good, healthy, positive outcomes from all of these different levels and approaches to application that I don't know. It's just I don't think we should worry about that kind of stuff too much. But it's kind of fun to debate and, you know, say things like, if you're not with us, you're against us. And so once said in the seminal article that this thing matters the most. But you know, as soon as I hear someone say, "Well, the way things used to be," my eyes just glaze over and I want to throw up. But anyway, I think something that's really interesting about CrossFit and maybe that might be a little thought provoking is that it's changed. And I think if we all agree that CrossFit started as an empirically based fitness approach, which, you know, actually is quoted, I believe, in some article that founder Glassman wrote, then it's probably going to change. And if we also agree to the fact that the goal of CrossFit is to improve outcomes in terms of fitness, and we're more worried about the outcome than we are about the inputs, then it's also going to change. And I think there's no better evidence for this. 2 pieces of evidence. One, how all the different affiliates around the world apply CrossFit and the fitness of their members. And 2, that CrossFit.com programming has changed over the years. It changed a lot. You go back 20 years to 10 years, it's changed. To 15 years, changed. So I don't know, worth thinking about. There's obviously some key ingredients, But I don't know. Stop holding on to that dogma too much, people. Or not. I'm not going to yuck your yum today. I'm just feeling nice. Oh, gosh. And I don't know if I talked about this the other day, but so the workout yesterday was wall ball shots and dumbbell power snatches. One of the athletes who has been improving her squat was squatting to a ball. The coach gave her a ball to squat to. And after I was chatting to her about it, the athlete, and she said she refers to when the target to squat to is the stool of shame, which is my new favorite, which I will now forever refer to anytime you're squatting to a target as a stool of shame. It's fantastic. I think it's good to be a little self-disparaging every once in a while. Obviously, it's not shameful to use some feedback or tools, proprioceptive assistance to get better at movements, especially in CrossFit. But stool of shame. So I'm going to try and think of more names like that for things we do in class. Just, it's always my goal to make people feel better about themselves. Cross that off the list. Oh, wow. The two things left to chat about here. I really do want to talk about this concept of what I've been reading about genetics and talent and nature versus nurture. And regardless of which is more righter, what do I feel like is the best way to proceed with your own view of the world and your own perception? But I also wanted to chat about something I was thinking about the other day, just the what's the point mindset. I was talking to somebody, might have been a friend, I don't really remember, might have been somebody in class, could have been myself. But this whole mentality of like, what's the point is really this, this argument that I think it can be really damaging and it's pretty dangerous. It's sort of like when you're explaining something to a kid and they just keep asking why. And at some point they just get to the end of your knowledge of the subject and then you just lose your mind. 'Cause I said so. And that's what you tell them. Or like the famous philosophical anecdote, and they're discussing in the lecture hall, the professor's discussing what holds the world up, and somebody says a turtle. And the professor says, well, what's below that? And lady says a turtle. And then, he keeps asking, and the lady says, well, there's just turtles all the way down, which is just fantastic. But the what's the point is something that I personally did not do great with post professional competitive CrossFit. I would say I'm always competing when it comes to working out. But when I was trying to do it as a profession so other people could watch and clap, after I stopped doing it like that, it was challenging to work out because it was like, well, if I wasn't going to be on a team that won the CrossFit Games or make it to the CrossFit Games or whatever, fill in the blank, for some reason, it was just too easy for me to fall into the what's the point mindset. Why would I work this hard if I'm not going to be the best in the damn world? And I think it's a really dangerous mindset. And I think it's also reflective of moments in time when we wrap ourselves around, it could be extrinsic or intrinsic goals. I think extrinsic goals get a really bad rap. But, I was too singularly wrapped around a specific goal. And when that goal was no longer attainable or I wasn't chasing anymore, all of the effort that went toward that goal seemed really fruitless and stupid. But obviously, I think exercise and fitness and CrossFit is really good for you. And it took me a long time to kind of combat this whole what's the point mindset. Pops up once in a while. But it did start with, Cassandra sharing with me that, one, I was just a much nicer person after I had done some sort of physical exercise. So what's the point, James? Don't be a douchebag. That's why you should exercise. I think something else that's really important to think about with this one is, having multiple goals. And this is, again, come hell or high water, I want to get him on this podcast. Brian Chantas shared with me, and I could be misrepresenting what he said. And if I am, send me letters, hate me for it. We'll get it cleared up at some point. But I think, a lesson I took from doing some work with him and events with him was, having multiple goals is important. You might have one supreme goal, but having multiple is important because there are moments when you struggle and sometimes one goal, which seems really important, no longer seems important, but you might have a backup one that's like, ooh, that one is still driving me forward. So I think that is crucial. I had totally lost sight of all of the other good things that the fitnessing gave me. And I think I hear this pop up in the what's the point argument pop up in some people's discussion or talk. And I just think it's something that's like, as soon as you hear it, you want to nip it in the bud. The other thing about what's the point is, I think if you take that argument, it's like, yeah, we're pretty small in a universe of big things, and it's hard to feel valued. But if you take a second to pause and look at your impact on the lives of those around you, especially those closest to you, there's a lot of points, and especially to yourself. And also, I haven't met anyone who is terribly happy when they run around with the what's the point mindset, but people who do have points, a point to work towards, seem generally to have a better disposition and a little happier. So there you go. Wanted to share that. We're almost to 11 minutes, so I got to stop this thing. We'll see you guys tomorrow.